against Green Bay in November. Chris Boniol to kick off, and there's Jack Jackson out of the University of Florida back to receive it. Boniol angles the kick. Good kick down to the 1-yard line on the near side. And Jack Jackson runs right into a steamroller by the name of Kavika Pittman, who was their top draft choice, the rookie defensive end out of McNeese State, playing on special teams. Eric Kramer now, who had a terrific year, made his NFL debut as a replacement player during the strike in '87, and then went to Detroit and finally got a chance to start with the Lions. And one of the reasons he's here is when Dave Wanstead was an assistant at Dallas and Detroit beat Dallas in the playoffs in '91. Wanstead loved Kramer.
He beat him up. 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards.
From the 19-yard line, the fake to Robert Green, and then Kramer slings one off the fingertips of Curtis Conway, who had to reach for it in front of Dion.
Curtis Conway incomplete. Sanders on the coverage.
Well, Dion on his way to 100. We'll keep track tonight. The first half in for almost every play.
Really, it's a good route by Conway, Frank. He's open. If it's a good pass, it's a relatively easy completion.
It wasn't that poor. I mean, it wasn't thrown that poorly.
Here's Green slipping an initial hit and then taking it up to the 24-yard line, where Woodson and Hennings converge on the stop.
Robert Green carried onto the leg. Brought down by Woodson.
Green and Raymont Harris are really doing a pretty good job of handling the football for the Chicago Bears. They're not having a great deal of success running the ball, and they really do miss the big body of Rashaan Salam banging in there. It's even questionable as to whether or not he's going to be able to play next week. And a combination of a hamstring and a knee injury. Harris and Green doing their best, but they are not Salam.
Bears go to Washington on Saturday. Kramer has it tipped, and it is picked off by Kevin Smith. And Smith angles back and gets tackled at the 45-yard line. Darren Smith got a hand on it, and no relation, Kevin Smith makes the interception.
I think Eric Kramer saw Darren Smith. He's trying to force the ball into Michael Timpson. Didn't even see Darren, who deflected the football.
The Dallas Cowboys trying to cash in now on an interception, held without a touchdown in the first half tonight. Last year, a spectacular beginning to their season on Monday night. They routed the Giants 35-0 tonight in a dogfight, and Emmitt Smith drops the pitch out, and the Chicago Bears get it back. Al Fontenot came in to bust up the play, and Brian Cox recovers it.
Looked like a perfect pitch from Troy Aikman. Looked like he led Emmitt with it, put it right where it needed to be.
You know, those are the kinds you drop because they're so easy to handle. As a running back, you start looking for the move. Where am I going to find a block? Am I going to cut it back?
This thing's going to come right
out
at
there
us.
Perfectly. He was just looking upfield.
Just right through his hands.
That's a weird deal there as you look at Cox, and I'll explain in a second. That fumble will be charged to Aikman. Those are the scoring rules, even though clearly it was a good pitch out from the 49-yard line. This is Green. The rules simply state that if a player never has possession of it, and he never really took possession of it officially, it's charged to Aikman. But clearly a case of Smith, who fumbled only once in 1994, but then 7 times last year, dropping the football.
You know, I think a lot of credit on that play ought to go to Al Fontenot, because Emmitt Smith looked to me like he was going to be able to relatively easily recover his own fumble. Fontenot went ahead and tackled him and kept Emmitt from getting it. A lot of guys had a hand in that. Everybody had a hand in it but Emmitt.
2nd and 4. Raymont Harris with some nifty running. Gets tackled at the 38-yard line, but not until he picks up a first down. Todd Berger with the block and Darren Woodson with the tackle.
I think he lost his shoe in the process.
Good news for the Bears being able to move the ball on the ground. And when they lost Keith Jennings early in this game, I think they pretty much were thinking they're going to have to forget about their running game. But they've been getting a good job out of Ryan Wetnight. Made a fine block there. Wetnight about 230 pounds as we look at Emmitt Smith getting a little attention on the sidelines.
Getting some retreads.
Is doing a good job filling in for Jennings.
Right, get some tread on those gloves.
Time out, Eddie. Time out for an injury. Injury.
Ed Hockley signaling an injury timeout. It's Broderick Thomas who is shaken up.
Brock Marion they're looking at too, aren't they?
Now, Thomas, the linebacker, will need some attention. So timeout with 12:44 remaining in the third quarter. Chicago by 7. Well, it's a great way to get back in the saddle. Regular season Monday night in Chicago. And guys, next week for the first time in 10 years, Monday Night Football goes to Green Bay. What a scene that's going to be.
And a good start for both Green Bay and Philadelphia. And that should be quite a game. Rodney Peete with the big game against Washington, and Brett Favre with 4 touchdowns against Tampa Bay.
If you ever want to go anywhere and like plug in that umbilical cord and recharge yourself on the game of football, Lambeau Field is the place to do it.
Robert Green picks up 7. The Packers, everybody's pick to win the NFC Central. And most people think Chicago will finish 2nd or 3rd in the division, but clearly everybody thinks the Packers are the creme de la creme.
And that's not just of the Central Division. A lot of people think they are the creme de la creme of the NFC, and of course I think in many people's eyes of the NFL. And it'll be an interesting year. And Mike Holmgren, I think, very, very wise in telling his players, shut up already in talking about the Super Bowl. We're not going to discuss it anymore.
But we will.
Yeah, of course we will.
2nd down and 3
next week.
Here's Green to the 20-yard line on a 1st down. Marion and Woodson make the tackle. So the Bears on a very big drive right now as they try to extend a 7-point lead to 10 or 14.
Barry Switzer obviously a little concerned, not coming out of the preseason, but when talking to Dave Wanstead last night, he said he went back before this game and studied all the games from the Cowboys from the last couple of years, and he said the teams that stuck with their game plan right through the 3rd quarter, kept it close into the 3rd quarter, said those were the teams that gave the Cowboys the tough times. Those were the teams that beat the Cowboys.
Raymont Harris tackled in the backfield. Good play by Tony Tolbert, who played very sparingly in preseason. Another of the dinged Cowboys.
Well, yeah, the Bears came out here to run the football, Dan, and they have not left it. Even though they lost Keith Jennings, the key to that, they have stuck with it.
No, Dave is sticking with it, as you said, Frank. And what has to be discouraging to Switzer and the Cowboys is, you know, they're trailing at halftime. They got what they needed right off the bat. They got the break, the deflection, and then the interception. And then what's frustrating, what hurts, they turn right around and give it back on the Smith fumble. Very uncharacteristic for the Cowboys. Very opportunistic normally.
2nd down and 10. Kramer on a tight roll throws incomplete. Good coverage again there. Robert Green covered by Brock Marion. 3rd and 10.
Kramer thought he saw something, changed the play at the line of scrimmage, and put it right into the teeth of the Dallas defense. Brock Marion coming up. Hey, Kramer, great season. Dan mentioned only 15 sacks. A great credit to the offensive line. A great credit, too, to the scheme that Ron Turner, their offensive coordinator, has brought to the Bears.
Kramer has not completed any of his last 8 passes. And on 3rd and 10, he completes one, but it's a minimal gain as it's hauled in by Robert Green. He's tackled by Darren Woodson, and Carlos Huerta comes out to attempt a field goal.
I know people at home go, when you need 10 yards, why do you throw it 2?
That's a good question.
Well, often. I can only assume that Eric Kramer surveyed the field in the limited amount of time he had and found no one else.
35-yard attempt by Carlos Huerta. The new Bear kicker who won the job in the battle with Butler, and no good. A penny for Kevin Butler's thoughts as he sits at home watching this one right now.
I think we all know what they are.
Yeah, we do. More than a penny. 10-3 Chicago.
It's hard. You had a few of those, I think, Al, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, right. Right through the clown's mouth.
That's somewhere, it was his 8th hole in one.
Yeah.
Think of all the people who've had no holes in one.
That's amazing.
That's why, too.
There's a hole.
Some pigs have more than one. For all of us that don't have one, it's because some guys have taken more than their fair share. Emmett Smith getting a little emergency surgery on his drawers out there.
Yeah, picking up a blowout patch.
Instant valet service.
Well, the Cowboys are not made to pay for the Smith fumble. Huerta misses.
But now they try to sustain a drive for the first time in a while from the 26-yard line, and Moose Johnston makes the catch. He's tackled there by Donnell Wolford at the 31. And let's get a word from Lynn Swann. Lynn?
Al, at halftime, Dave Wanstead said his #1 priority in covering Dion is not to let him get the big play. Therefore, the 9-10-yard cushion. But part of that game plan is also whenever he touches a football to come up and punish Dion. But so far, save one pass play, Dion has either been on the ground or out of bounds, so they haven't been able to stick him. Look for him in the second half to try him on that pattern, on the down and out and up, to try and go by the coverage, and also a quick screen. Hands in, with the ball in his hand and a cushion, he might be able to make something happen. Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn, as Emmitt Smith picks up the first down. Yeah, most of Dion's contact tonight was initiated by Dion.
Even the quick slants across the middle, he hasn't taken a hard hit. But again, you cannot help but be amazed at the physical conditioning of Deion Sanders to be able to play both ways. I know it's at night, the sun isn't shining, it's not sapping you for energy the way it normally does, but still, Frank, this is a remarkable performance to go two ways as often as he is doing it.
He splits wide to the right, and Herschel Walker is split wide left. Bears show blitz. Here they come. They pick it up, and Aikman hits Johnston over the middle, and Moose barrels forward, close to a first down. Spotted up at the 47-yard line with 8:25 remaining in the third.
Again, Brian Cox doing what he does best in a passing situation, and that is blitz. But again, he declares it too early. That's an easy pickup for Ray Donaldson and Larry Allen when Brian Cox tips his hand and gets so close to the line of scrimmage prior to the snap. With a veteran offensive line like the Cowboys, you can't afford to tell them you're coming.
And it will be second down and that much.
You also have to give Troy Aikman credit in a situation like that. Obviously, he is changing up his snap count and his rhythms, Frank, keeping the Bears' blitzes a little bit off balance.
And if you ever wanted to take a shot at Dion on that out and up that Lynn talked about a moment ago, second and short yardage, not a bad time to try it.
Second and inches up at the 47. 8:20 to go, third quarter. Dion wide left.
It is where you like to go deep.
Good time to go deep. Boy, what a cushion by Harris again. But they give it to Moose Johnston instead, and he takes it right to the 50-yard line. First down, Dallas.
Dion couldn't have got past Harris that time under any circumstance.
I don't think Michael Johnson could have gotten past Harris.
A solid 10 yards was the cushion that time by Walt Harris on Dion.
As much as they've completed that out pass to Dion, I'm surprised they haven't done it even more. It's just playing catch between Aikman and Deion Sanders the way they're playing at the moment.
But then again, you know, you have to, we're talking about the cushion he's giving Dion. There it is right there, 10 yards. But look at the scoreboard. The Cowboys have only scored 3 points. Something's working.
Aikman throws. Dion makes the catch and gets ridden down at the 42-yard line by Harris after a gain of about 8. It's going to be second and 2 at the 42.
Ooh, and Troy barking at his offensive line a little bit. He took a good shot.
And that time, good coverage by Harris. He came up. Of course, the blitz was on. He knew that he was going to have pressure, and we have an injured Cowboy.
Nate Newton.
He's a little closer here now because he knows he's got the blitz. And he makes a good drive. But still plenty of time for the completion.
Dion gets hit. Troy gets hit.
Alonzo Spellman with the hit on Troy Aikman, but a big concern right now, Nate Newton is down.
Well, the great Nate will sit out at least one play.
He's got his chin strap buttoned up. I think he's ready to come back in.
Kicked in the throat, they're saying, and they'll come back in shortly. It'll be second and 2 as play resumes from the Chicago 42, and Emmitt Smith gets bottled up. Spellman hit him first. It'll be third and inches. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Plymouth. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth. Sun America, the retirement savings specialist. And Brewery Fresh Budweiser, reminding you fresh beer tastes better. That may be the most profound thing uttered from this booth tonight.
Nate, an authority on the subject, is back in the game. After being stomped in the chops, he's back.
Third and short. That's exactly where they like to run, right over Nate over the left side.
Third and a yard from the 41-yard line. Emmett gets tripped up but thrusts ahead for the first down inside the 40-yard line.
Well, where do they really run on short yardage? It's dial a Pro Bowler. All 5 of their offensive linemen have been Pro Bowl performers, and a Pro Bowl lead blocker in Daryl Johnston. So and maybe it's quite a luxury for Ernie Zampese when he decides where to go with it on short yardage.
And maybe damn the development of Larry Allen, who's turning into one of the greats as an offensive lineman. I think you'll see the Cowboys on short yardage going more and more where they did just a moment ago. There's Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator.
From the 39-yard line, the fake to Smith. Aikman throws, and Dion can't one-hand it. The former center fielder can't pull it in. This is the first year, of course, that Dion's had a full training camp with no baseball.
Well, I'll tell you, without, again, Jay Novacek.
He didn't have a glove either.
And without Michael Irvin, the Bears, I don't think, would be blitzing nearly as much as they are tonight, and they're getting away with it. This is man-to-man coverage, and Walt Harris knows he's got the blitz. He knows he's got pressure on Dion and the Troy Aikman to throw the ball quickly, and he's right there. Good coverage.
Nice job by Dion of pushing off a little bit. You see him get the right hand on Harris's shoulder and give him a roll.
That time Harris lined up tighter. Now he's back, giving him that 10-yard cushion again, and Aikman slings one to the 25-yard line, and Kevin Williams cannot make the catch and is slow in getting up. Ooh.
We'll look forward to losing another receiver.
Yep. Well, that's about the worst sight they could see right now, because now you have Stepford Williams, a rookie who started out with a bang in preseason but ended with more of a whimper, who may have to see some action.
Well, you saw the official on the scene being very definitive about the ball hitting the ground. No wonder. It's plain to see.
Well, Deion Sanders doing a one-night Cal Ripken here. He's been involved in 74 of the 83 plays in the game. The only play he's missed in this half was the second and short, where they lined up with a double tight end. Third down and 10 now from the 39-yard line, and Kelvin Martin replaces Kevin Williams. There's movement, there are flags, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Billy Davis as they really reach down deep into their receiver corps.
Who could have possibly imagined it, that in a regular season game, the Cowboys are lining up Kelvin Martin, Billy Davis, Deion Sanders at wide receiver, and Daryl Johnston at tight end.
Offsides by the defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Not because they want to.
No, not because they want to. A mind-boggling situation for the Cowboys.
And there is Kelvin Martin, we mentioned before, once with the Cowboys, then he bounced around, Seahawks, Eagles. He was out of football. Cowboys said, hey, we need you. Back he comes. He knows the system. Third down, 5.
When we were away at commercial, Kevin Williams was helped off to the field, and he was limping.
Kmart, they call Martin. They need a Gucci receiver right now. It's third down and 5 from the 34-yard line, and they try to go to Gucci. Deion Sanders, and Wolford breaks it up. 121 steps in front of the other.
Donnell Wolford, when he is healthy, when he is right, he is one of the best man-for-man defenders in this game. He's not all that big, 5'9", 180 pounds, but he's like glue. He's not intimidated at all by Deion Sanders.
It is fourth down and 5 now at the 34.
Reporting.
So you can, well, you can choose a 52-yard field goal, a punt, or a fake punt.
Well, the first team Cowboy offensive team didn't do anything the entire preseason. They struggled. They didn't get any points on the board to speak of. They were concerned. They were frustrated. They were hoping it would be different here in Chicago tonight. But 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and still only 3 points on the board.
Good time for a high pop fly. Bouncing at the 7, but it takes a Bears bounce, and it's down to the 13. But Barry Switzer said to us last night, he said, we've had no consistency and no continuity, especially offensively, in preseason, and he wasn't lying. Time now for our Prudential Fact of the Night.
This is a good one, too.
This is incredible.
This stumps everybody.
Well, where do you think the most games in the history of the National Football League have been played? Wrigley Field, home of the Cubs now, but the home of the Bears from 1921 through 1970. More regular season NFL games have been played on the north side of Chicago at Wrigley Field than in any other stadium ever. As Robert Green picks up 14, and while we're at it, we might as well throw it out for the audience tonight. What do you think is the stadium that is an active stadium, a current stadium in the National Football League now that has hosted the most games?
We'll give you 2 plays to think about.
Right.
We'll give you a couple plays. It's an active stadium now. It's home to an NFL team. More than any other.
2nd down and 8.
We better be right about that.
We are right. From the 15-yard line. And the pass is incomplete. Deion Sanders with good defense all over Curtis Conway. 3rd down and 8.
We played an NFL championship game in '63 at Wrigley Field. Lost to the Bears there.
It's an attempt by Conway to drive Sanders off the ball, but Sanders waits for him. When Curtis makes his break, Deion's only 2 or 3 yards away. See, that's the mark of confidence that a great corner has to have.
He made a good play there, too. Conway had that football, and
Darn right.
Got a hand in there and knocked it out.
But Deion didn't let himself be driven down the field by Conway.
3rd and 8, 4:20 left in the 3rd quarter. Chicago up by 7. They set up a screen, but a bad-looking one, and an errant pass intended for
Billy Bates. Billy Bates. Just another drop again by Robert Green.
So 4th down, and Dan, be the answer man here.
Mile High Stadium in Denver. Do not feel badly if you didn't get it. None of us did either.
Yep, of all the stadiums currently in use in the NFL, it's hosted more regular season games than any facility. Sauerbrunn sends it down to the 35-yard line, and Kelvin Martin with a 6-yard run back. Tackle made by Rob Davis after a 50-yard boot.
And for those of you who might have got the answer, you can join us in the booth for a Monday Night Football game.
You got it. Meanwhile, let's take a look at some of the action tonight. Early in the 1st quarter, it was Timpson upended by Deion Sanders. Marion picked up the fumble. That set up a Dallas field goal. And Curtis Conway on the trick play to Raymont Harris, covered by Darren Smith, and it was 7-3 Chicago in what has been the only touchdown in the game. And then the fake punt by Sauerbrunn, resulting in the completion to Raymont Harris just before the half, setting up a Huerta field goal. And that's how we've got to Bears 10, Cowboys 3. From the 41-yard line, Dallas 1st and 10. Aikman under pressure, hit as he throws, incomplete. Deion in the area. Brian Cox on the blitz.
I'll tell you, when you have a team that's having problems, no continuity, nothing in sync, the best thing you can do is blitz them. That'll really compound it. And that's what the Bears have done. I think they blitzed now for the last 5 plays. And ordinarily the Cowboys would make the Cowboys a year ago. They would eat that alive.
I dare say the Cowboys have never been blitzed this many times and not made somebody pay dearly for it.
2nd and 10 up at the 42-yard line. Here's Emmett.
Hello, Larry Allen.
Cuts it back, run out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Flag down at the 44. Larry Allen with a great
Larry
block.
Allen wiped out Brian Cox.
Hello. Hello. I weigh 330 pounds and you don't.
They're going to bring it back, but we just got to look at it.
This is called an obliteration.
Holding by the offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Here comes Cox flowing to the outside. There comes Larry Allen. Goodbye, Brian Cox.
Cox weighs 250 pounds, and Allen took him off his feet.
Just look at Larry move. Look how nimble he is. Look how light he is on his feet, and then he brings it and drops the big bag of goodies on Brian Cox. Just incredible athleticism by a man that size. He is the whole deal. He is smart. He is tough. He is huge. He's fast. And he's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. And you just sent him back.
And he deserves it.
2nd and 20 that wipes out a Smith gain. Emmett tonight 15 carries for 55 yards. Darrell Johnston was split to the right that time, and Dion makes the catch and then steps out of bounds with Harris covering up at the 42-yard line, so they get back to about the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down.
A gain of 10 on the play. The Cowboys at 3rd and 10.
Make it 3rd down. 3rd down and 10 up at the 42-yard line with 3:32 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Again, Walt Harris continues just to make sure he's not going to give Dion something major, but that is a 7th reception for Dion. 71 yards for him now. And they're not going to leave it. Now he's over lined up against Donnell Wolford.
3rd and 10 at the 42, and with a very frustrating motion, Troy Aikman says timeout. 3:12. Exasperation beginning to set in. 10-3 Chicago. Soldier Field, the home of the Chicago Bears, who go to Washington next week. Dallas goes home to Texas Stadium to face the New York Giants. And the Cowboys down by 7 here after the timeout. 3rd down and 10 from the 42-yard line. 5-man Chicago rush, and the pass is incomplete. Deion Sanders covered by Donnell Wolford that time.
Well, Dion falls down, and then Wolford, who has a clean shot at the ball, trips over the top of Dion.
And you know things are serious when Jerry's on the sideline in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, things are serious for the Cowboys.
I'll tell you, that part of the field is still a little bit of a problem from a week ago, 10 days ago, when we had that downpour here at Soldier Field, and you saw Deion Sanders lose his footing.
And fortunately for the Cowboys, Donnell Wolford fell over the top of Dion, or he picks that off.
John Jett to punt, Bobby Ingram back to receive it. The Penn State rookie comes up to the 23 to hold it in. And a nice tackle by Jim Schwantz right there along with Billy Bates. As Chicago begins its drive from the 23-yard line. That is the Spirit of Akron floating high above Soldier Field in Chicago. Sold out tonight, the Goodyear Blimp. Don McDuff at the controls. And next week, up the Lake Michigan shoreline, we go to Green Bay, to Lambeau Field. The Packers in their home opener against the Philadelphia Eagles, coming off their win yesterday behind Rodney Peete and Ricky Waters. We'll see the Eagles and the Packers from Lambeau next Monday night.
Get those bratwursts ready. We're on the way.
Bears from the 24-yard line. Toss to Green. Gain of a yard or 2. Darren Smith on the coverage.
We should have some of those bratwursts from Milwaukee County Stadium sent up there.
Yeah.
Man.
I think you just did.
That'd be the best sandwich in any ballpark I've ever had.
Charles Haley told Barry Switzer last night that he could give him about 30 good snaps tonight. And I think he's been in for probably more plays than that. Or on a pace to be in for more.
Well, Kramer's a tough quarterback to reach with that short drop and the quick delivery.
2nd and 8. Green cuts it back and is tackled up at the 30-yard line, setting up a 3rd and 5. Raymont Harris. Led with a block leading the way.
Again, good running by Robert Green. He made a little more out of that. Just breaking the tackle of Kevin Smith.
Kevin shaken, but Kevin knows that if you have to take an injury timeout, you have to come out for a play. So he's going to shake it off and stay right in there. But the rest of the Cowboys are now going to say, no, we want him out of the game here, at least for a play. Sweetness is down there. Walter Payton still looks like he could run for 100 yards.
Yes, he could behind some lines in this league. Maybe behind the 2 that are here tonight.
Some of the lines he ran behind weren't all that good. It wound up with over 16,000 yards. That's remarkable.
Kevin Smith is out. That means Alundis Bryce is in. 3rd and a long 3 from the 31-yard line. 1:45 to go. 3rd quarter. 10-3 Bears. Kramer So effective on that play. All last year and enough tonight. Bobby Ingram makes the catch, and Alundis Bryce, who just took Kevin Smith's spot with the coverage, so they went right to Bryce.
Yeah, they've done a masterful coaching job on both sides of the ball. Special teams, the Bears have not missed a beat tonight from the coaching box.
Eric Kramer, though, showing a lot of confidence in a rookie here in his first NFL game. Bobby Ingram, their second-round draft choice this year, and being called upon in a very pressure situation.
That's Ingram's first catch tonight, first catch of his career. From the 38-yard line, Kramer throws, and somehow the catch is made by Curtis Conway. Had his arms in a rather unusual position, but stayed with it. Low throw, hangs on.
And Dion was right up in his face. Actually hit him as he came off the line of scrimmage, and Eric had the ball on the way.
2nd and 4 at the Bears 44.
Quick delivery, just timing between Conway and Kramer.
Well, again, a good delivery. Low, outside, place where nobody else is going to catch it except the intended receiver.
Their brain trust sending this play in on 2nd down and 4. And the play call is a straight ahead for Green, who gets tackled a yard short of the first down on what figures to be the final play of the quarter. Tolbert in on the stop, so a big 3rd and 1 will begin the 4th quarter. We've played 3 at Soldier Field in Chicago, and the world champions will have to come from behind, because at the end of 3 at Chicago 10, Dallas 3, and Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations.